So first off, I want to say sorry that the recording got all messed up. I didn't realize that my AirPods were gonna be such a terrible like audio quality.
It's all good.
Welcome to Lil Talk with Lil Joey, and we have a special guest from not only hype boxing, not only IFL, but the basketball community, Cole
Oh,
Sterling. Hope you're doing
what's
well,
up?
man.
Yes, sir. We locked in.
Yeah, man. So the last time we talked, you told me a little bit about your shoulder. It's doing well. Do you want to explain that again?
So nothing ended up being torn, just a dislocation, bad strain. But we're chilling. We're back working out. No bad injuries. So we're chilling.
Absolutely. That's what's up. No, it's good to hear. The last fight was incredible, and I was definitely worried when I saw, your arm, you looked hurt. But dude, you kept fighting, you switched stances, and talk about your, what was going through your mind during that.
Yeah. So as soon as that happened, first thing that hit my mind was don't lose. Because if I see somebody's shoulder pop out like that, I'm rushing them. I'm gonna try to get the TKO. And that didn't happen. The guy I was fighting didn't throw any punches the whole fight. So I was I had time to sit there and I was like, all right, I'm good, switch stances and then kept going. And then at that point I just kept switching back and forth for whatever punch I wanted to throw.
Let's talk about that again because Sam did not throw as much as I thought he did. And we talked about previously about what you saw in the face to face. Let's talk about that again. What you noticed when you guys did your face to face.
I thought he was gonna throw a lot more, and then during the face to face, just talking to him the whole time, it didn't feel like it was gonna be a fight, like an actual fight. And then when we got in there, it was very one-sided. Obviously, they didn't put it in my favor. I thought I won. But it was pressure. I just put pressure on him the whole time. Didn't really get much. He got one clean hit on my head in 3 rounds, so I'm chilling. No head injuries, so we're good.
That's good to hear. You never want to, you never want that bad shit. Especially after your shoulder, you don't want to add anything else. But yeah, I was surprised to see that Sam hadn't, thrown a lot of punches, and you were the dictator of this fight for, all 3 rounds. And talk about like the difference between that and your first fight. I know, for your first fight, your opponent dictated the first couple, the first or second round. So how did it feel having that kind of difference in power in the ring?
I felt more so at the same time feeling more confident. I felt more at risk too, because you never know what Israel Adesanya, he'll get hit 5 times before throwing the knockout punch. And it's just staying on my toes the whole time. Didn't do too much, you know what I mean? Didn't do too
Yeah.
much in the way of him because they call him Counterpunch. So I was always in the back of my mind of he could throw something, and just making sure I'm in there and then I'm out.
So talk about, the lead up to, getting this opponent. You like a challenge, you want those challenges, and Sam definitely isn't, a light puncher in any means. So
Right.
were you at all concerned, or were you excited when you heard that Sam was your opponent?
So I believe there were 4 fights that I was supposed to have before, and everybody kept backing out. And then Sam wanted it. He had been waiting to get a call from IFL. And when I heard that he wanted to go, I got very excited. I knew it was going to be a good fight, a good time. Nothing outside of the ring, everything. It was all around good experience with him.
That's
So
awesome.
shout out Sam, shout out Sam.
Yeah, shout out Sam. I'm trying to get an interview set up with him too, so that would be dope. Yeah. Shift a little bit and talk about, your beginnings, your roots of basketball, and kind of how you got to this point.
So out of high school, I got hurt my senior year of high school. Tore my MCL and like everything in my knee.
Shit.
And so couldn't finish out a season that I was improving a lot in, getting ready to go trying to find a spot in college. Ended up getting a preferred walk-on spot at Indiana State. Went there, just didn't feel like it was right. So I didn't end up taking it. I went to school there for a semester, but I started posting on TikTok, just basketball clips, park takeovers. The first video I did hit a mill. And I was like, uh-oh, I think this might be what it is. Since then playing in like semi-pro leagues, got a call up to the ABA.
Wow.
A lot of fun things. Played in two influencer all-star games. Those were dope. It was just cool because I'm the youngest in the space, or I was when I started, and playing with guys that I had been watching since middle school were was definitely a surreal moment. And then now in the boxing space, it's the same thing. Still being one of the youngest, I think I might be the youngest in the cruiserweight division. I'm not sure. I just turned 21. It's
You
close.
gotta be at least one of the youngest. I was surprised that you were that you were younger than me. I'm like, you're one of the, if not the first, basketball, creator to kind of cross over
Mhm.
into this. And do you find did you find it pretty easy, kind of finding that passion for boxing as much as you did for basketball?
Yeah, it did. And a lot of the movements or a lot of the footwork was very similar. So didn't really have to do much with that. The grind and passion for it was definitely just like the same.
Yeah,
Conditioning, same workouts. Everything's pretty close. So it was a fun, easy transition. Definitely, I would say boxing a lot harder just
yeah,
because basketball was more of a skill that I had been working on my whole life. So now that I'm jumping into boxing, like a lot of the pro boxers started like 10 years old. So it's jumping in now. Definitely a challenge for sure, but it's one that I'm wanting to take and willing to take.
did you ever feel like, was it hard in terms of like, because basketball can be like semi, a contact sport, but not as physical obviously as boxing. Did you find
Right.
that part of it to be a hard transition?
So when I played basketball, I was never the one to flop, or I would never no one would ever call fouls because I would never sell fouls. I'd go straight into the body contact and everything. Never shot any free throws because there it never looked like a foul. Um so yeah, always willing to take the hard hit. Playing football too, growing up, it was all just I like the contact. Collision sports are my thing.
When I played basketball, I just happened to be the Draymond Green of my team. I was
Oh
always
yeah.
getting fouled out, like all this different stuff. So,
Every
I
team
think,
needs one of those.
yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Sometimes you just need physical players. We just need that. So let's talk about Tatakai and the
Okay.
whole, a little build up about that, because I did an interview with him. He's very excited to get back into the ring, and he is somebody with power and with
Mhm.
two fights under his belt. It was a one loss and one win. Talk about your anticipation for a fight like that.
Nothing more, nothing less than the others. Every fight, take it as business, go in there, handle business. Yeah, and then shake hands and we'll see what happens after and before the fight. But in the fight, preparation, don't feel like I definitely need to work more, but there's nothing that sets me like back in this fight. So I'm very confident in the fight, ready to roll. Definitely wanted to be a title eliminator fight. That's the That's
That
what my
would be
team's looking
incredible.
at, wanting to make happen. But
Yeah,
whatever happens, happens, and I'm willing to take that fight. I want to take the fight.
absolutely. And it we talked a little bit in the first interview about, you moving weight classes. Talk about, kind of, have you already started that process?
Yeah, cut started yesterday. Moving down, it'll be a slow cut because I got time. Keep it healthy.
Yeah.
More of a muscle building, slow cut. Moving down to light heavyweight. Maybe even one more down after that. We're looking at going to 170. Um,
All
but
right.
definitely next fight, light heavyweight, 185, 180, and then we'll see what happens after that. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's the plan. No
That's
more cruiserweight unless the fight's right for sure. Because there's a lot of fun opponents in the cruiserweight division because it's the number one division right now in influencer boxing. So
Yeah.
definitely still got my eyes on some guys in cruiserweight division.
Entering, into the crossover scene, into that kind of the most competitive weight
Mhm.
class in the scene at the moment. Did you have a lot of pressure on
N-
you?
No, honestly, I wanted to join the most competitive. I just don't feel as in shape being that heavy per se. Because I still do a big cut before for then, but it's still just like I could do a lot more. at a lot less weight. And so
Yeah.
that's more where that's coming. Definitely join cruiserweight though to get that pressure on me because I like having pressure on my side instead of the other guy's side.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of big guys, and Sam was a big guy too. I know we talked
Mm.
about a little bit about how it felt when you punched him. Can you talk about that again? Because I love that.
Yeah, so I hit him in the gut and it was very strong. And then he threw one. I ducked my head, threw one right at his head, and it just felt like I was hitting a heavy bag. Bro's got a strong head. No headgear though. I believe I would have got the knockout. But his that doesn't take from him being a solid dude, way solid more than the first guy I fought. Yeah, I felt everything in my hand when I hit Sam for sure.
Yeah, I mean it was one of my my favorite fights to edit, especially because I was invested in that fight. I'm a big basketball fan myself, so
Mm.
I was backing you during that fight. So, um,
Appreciate
you
that.
know, yeah, man, I'm excited for not only just what you do in the ring, but the content, and I'm always excited to talk about this kind of stuff. And if you had a message to anybody out there, what's your message, man?
My message is to stand on what you believe in. If somebody is telling you you can't do it, that's because they've reached your limit or their limit and don't know what yours is. So definitely keep going. Don't stop until you can't keep going pretty much. And when you get to that point, there's still more to keep going. Sounding like David Goggins right now, but it's true. It's true.
I love it, dude. I love it, man. And I wanted to ask one more question, as long as you're comfortable about talking about it,
Mm.
obviously. And at the end of you're at the end of your fight, you thanked God for having you in this position. Are you a very religious person, and have you always been a very religious person?
Yeah, my whole life growing up a Christian. My hoodie actually says God's yes is my yes.
Yeah.
So standing in any position that the Lord has me in. Believing I won that fight and then not hearing my name, I didn't want to pull a KSI and start getting all whiny in there. So I just did what I felt I needed to do and just spread the reason why I'm even in there in the first place.
I love
And
it,
that's
man.
something that I plan on continuing to do.
No, I love that. I was raised and grew up and still am Catholic, and I love people spreading that kind of message. So I wanted to bring that up too, because I
Sure.
know there's a lot of people. Alex Eubank. I've been watching him a lot recently, and he's been making that a little more popular, honestly. And I think that's awesome to see people like you guys doing that. So thank you, man.
Appreciate that.
Do you have a message to Tatakai before we wrap up our awesome interview, man?
Yeah, I'm ready to get in there. I'm already looking at the future opponents past him. Not so I'm ready to get in there, handle that, and then just keep going on stepping stones. Le'Veon Bell, just know you're in my head right now. I'm ready to roll. Anthony Vargas for sure. That's
Yeah.
let's get that going. Hype boxing. Let's get Anthony Vargas. I mean, I feel like that'd be a good fight.
Let's
That'd be
go.
electrifying for sure. Statement for me.
You got so many great opponents that could make great fights. So like
Mhm.
that's another reason I'm so hyped to have you in the scene, man.
I'm excited. Thank you, thank you.
I'm,
Let's hoop. We still got to hoop.
yeah, I know. We gotta do it. We gotta do it, man.